All right, I started doing this a couple of years ago because personal story was about 5 years ago when the end of course test came out, and it was the very first year that students were taking the end of course test. They were taking algebra and geometry that first year, and I was teaching geometry. I got really bad scores, and my data, when I went and looked back, I took it really personally. And I thought, as a teacher, I was doing a disservice to those kids. I felt like a failure as a teacher, and I thought I had failed the kids. And for me, I personally thought that I was not preparing them in my class and preparing them to take that standardized end of course test. A couple years ago, I vowed to myself that when my kids were taking any sort of test during my class, whether it was a test, whether it was a quiz, whether it was a standardized test, that my kids were always going to be prepared and they were always going to be able to see their results. So the very first thing that I do as a teacher is I list out their scores, and I keep track of this in a binder. And it just helps me constantly be aware of where they are and where they're at in my classroom and when they take the STAR. All right, so the very first thing that I do when the kids come in class is I have something on my board and it tells exactly where they stand. So I have the above benchmark, at benchmark, on watch, and intervention. And I don't really use the word intervention. I put needs help or needs improvement so that they're not self-conscious about that word intervention. So what I do is when the kid comes in my classroom, and I start this from the first time we do STAR, is they get a little note card with their name on it. And right when they start, they have their note card, and when they finish, the indication for me when they finish is they come turn in their note card. When they turn in their note card, I immediately look up their score, and I put their raw score and their percentile rank on their note card, and they get that immediately back. So right when they finish, they can see their results, where they stand, and on my board is where they stand with not only the raw score, but with the benchmark assessments. The note cards, what I do the second round is I hand back the exact same note card as before. So they have their first score sitting there while they're taking their STAR result, so they know where they stood the first time. And their goal, what I always tell them, is to try to beat your score. Try to get as high as you can on that benchmark range. So again, when they finish, they come turn in, and right away they can see if they've improved their score or not. I have stars in the back of my classroom, and the first thing that I award them is the highest STAR score, and I put their raw score flat out on the thing so everybody can see what the highest raw score in my class was. But the next time, I also award the kid who grew the most. So if they grew 50 points in their raw score, and that was the highest in the class, they also get awarded a STAR, and it stays in the back of my classroom.
Okay, so my note card basically just tells me where I am in the class. That's my percentage. And my raw score tells me how much more I can improve. The second time I thought I did worse, but I did a lot better.
In my class, I was awarded the STAR, which means I got one of the highest scores in the class, and that motivated me to get a higher score the next time.
And did you get a higher score the next time?
And I got a much higher score the next time.
The thing that I've seen the most is that the kids are aware of their scores, and it has helped them tremendously, and it's helped them with their STAR results. They know exactly where they stand on their raw score level and exactly where they stand at benchmark. So when they have the score in front of them and they know exactly where they stand, it always helps them to want to do better on the STAR results and on their benchmark, and they're constantly wanting to improve that score.